Good day, everybody. No hating. I'm here to discuss some issues that are bothering my mind, and I think I feel like speaking out to the world and to those who really think that 25th December was the day that Jesus Christ was born. Hold on. I will tell you that this practice that we are practicing today ends from the Bible. And we are not rather celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, but we are celebrating Nimrod. Moses lifted Israel up, and Moses' civilization was to end 2,000 years. But Nimrod came and break his civilization. And if you can remember vividly the warning of prophet Jeremiah, he warned about the practice of the Hindu. He said, for the Hindu goeth forth to the forest and cuts down trees, fascinated these trees and decked them up with gold and silvers. Golds and silvers. Is that not what we are doing today? When you go to churches and some Christian homes today, on that festive season, you see these Christmas trees and carol lights, and with some decking silvers and golds. And how does those trees got to do with the birth of Jesus Christ? Hold on, I'll prove to you that we are not celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, or rather, we are celebrating Nimrod, the sun god, the goddess of the sun, and not the birth of Jesus Christ. The birth of Jesus Christ was first announced in the book of Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. And God told devil that the offspring of a woman would one day crush his head. Would one day crush his herd. For the next 4,000 years, God precisely and meticulously worked out to establish and preserve the bloodline from which the Redeemer of man would be born. Hold on. I'm coming to prove to you. Hold on. Christian traditions or Christian tradition teaches that Jesus Christ was born on December 25th, when it is very cold and sometimes snowy. But I tell you, it's a fat lie. Okay? It's a fat lie. Jesus Christ was never born on 25th December. I believe the evidence that supports the conclusion that Jesus Christ was born in September 11, 3 BC. Hold on, I'll prove to you. You ask me, how, why? Who told you that Jesus Christ was born September 11? Hold on, I'll give you proof to that. Okay, you just listen to me. Tradition would have us believe that there were 3 wise men. Listen carefully. That they came to the Magi. The truth is that there were quite a number of those who came from the east, and that they came to see Jesus when he was between 18 to 24 months old. Listen carefully. Hold on. You just bear with me, okay? Hold on. If you are good in maths, you can calculate this maths yourself. So bear with me. We cannot be fooled all the time. Okay? I cannot fully set forth the many pertinent biblical details, but will give you the important facts. And I will encourage you to pursue this via the avenues of study. And I can give you some books to read and some scriptural verses as well. So you listen to me and listen carefully. It is important to note that the actual chronology of events regarding the birth of Christ must be put together from what is recorded in the book of Matthew and Luke. Listen carefully. Luke chapter 1, verse 5 to 26. Luke chapter 1, verse 5 to 25. Luke chapter 38. Luke chapter 1, verse 26 to 38. Luke chapter 1, 39 to 56. Luke chapter 1, verse 57 to 80. And Matthew chapter 1, verse 18 to 24. Listen, note them down. Matthew chapter 1, verse 25. And Luke again chapter 2, verse 1 to 20. Matthew chapter 1 to 25. Luke chapter 2 to 21. Luke 2, 22 to 24. Luke 2, 25 to 35. Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 to 12. And Matthew 2, 1, 13. Matthew 2, 13, 22. Hold on. There are many. I can't really list them all. But at least you have to go for your own research and study yourself and do calculation and know what I'm talking about. Listen, Luke chapter 1, verse 5 to 25 is the record of the angel's announcement to Zechariah that he and his wife Elizabeth would have a son whom they were to call John. Listen carefully. This is just the Genesis. I'm coming down to what you want to know or what you are expecting to hear. So listen to me. Verse 5 of this verse, of this chapter, of this verse, contains a little phrase that is one important key. That is one important key to determine that Jesus Christ was born in September 11:3 BC, not December 25th as we celebrate today. It says that Zechariah belonged to the priestly division. I'm reading from King James Version. Of Abijah. A study will show that from the time of David, Jewish priests were organized into 24 classes, named after the heads of the priestly families. Listen to me carefully. I'm coming down straight away. You bear with me. What you're expecting, you're going to have it right away. Listen carefully. These curses of service in the temple started on Nisan 1, which corresponds to March or April on our calendar, and spanned the calendar year, because the Hebrews used a lunar calendar and we used a solar calendar. Are you listening? Listen. Nisan 1 changes on our calendar each year because of Abijah, who was the 8th or 8 curse, and like each curse occurred twice during the year. Listen carefully. In 4 BC, the year prior to the Christians or Christ's birth, the first of those 2 curses took place during the last week of our month of May. Listen carefully. Listen, hold on. Zechariah and Elizabeth were quite elderly and had no children. Listen. And the angel gave them the wonderful news that they would have a son to be named John. Verse 23 and 24 tells us that when Zechariah finished his service in the temple, he returned home, which would have been in early June. Listen. When Zechariah finished his service in the temple, he returned home, which would have been what? In early June. Upon his return, Elizabeth became pregnant. Verse 26 then says that in her 6th month of pregnancy, which is December, the angel Gabriel came to Mary, listen very good, to tell her that she was about to become pregnant with the Son of God 9 months later, which would have been what? September. Listen very good. You want to hear? Listen. How else do we know that Jesus Christ was not born in the winter? You can ask, how then do we know, or do I know, that Jesus was not born in the winter? Jesus was never born in the winter. Hold on and listen very good. Luke chapter 2 verse 8 speaks about the shepherd near Bethlehem. Listen very good. Who were in the fields watching their flocks at night. Shepherds in that region did not keep their sheep at night. They did not keep their sheep out at night during the winter because it was cold and sometimes even snowy. But they did keep them in the fields during the fall, after the end of summer harvest. At that time, the sheep could eat the stalks of grain left over after the harvest, and they would then fertilize the ground prior to the what? Late fall planting. Listen very good. Listen, I'm coming right away. Also, Luke chapter 2 verse 1 says that when Mary was just about to give birth to Jesus Christ, she and Joseph traveled to Bethlehem. Listen very good. To fulfill their obligations to be counted in Roman what? Census. They did not travel in the winter. Listen. Here, how? But the Bible recorded. Record what? They did not travel in the winter because it would have been much too hard. Rather, people traveled in the fall between the heat of summer. I'm talking about ancient time. Listen very good. And the cold of winter at that time of the year. Listen. The grain and also some fruits were ripe, and travelers were permitted, or let me use the word allowed, to eat some of the gleaning as they passed by. In what? Luke chapter Leviticus chapter 23-22. Listen very good. Listen as I say. The study of the now computerized data by which I can very accurately determined astronomical events of that time gives us another peace of mind, or gives me another peace of mind or bozo to dating the birth of Christ in September 11th, 3 BC. Oh, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. In particular, the very noticeable celestial activity of Jupiter, Mars, listen, Mercury, Regulus, the king star, and Venus, the queen star, and their various combinations of conjunctions in Leo during the 9 months leading up to Christ's birth are vital signs to determine the September birth date of our Lord Jesus Christ. And we believe, and I believe, that research shows that he was born September 11th, Treasury, one on the Jewish calendar. Hold on which day the sun was in Virgo. You listen to me? They believe the Jewish calendar. They set this day on this day that the sun was in Virgo, as per the prophecy. Sorry to say, yes, like I said, he was born September 11th, 3 BC, as Trishi calendar. If you know more about Jewish calendar, you know what I'm talking about. On which day the sun was in Virgo. Listen carefully how we got to know that Jesus Christ was not born 25th December, but rather September 11. With the moon beneath her feet, as reviewed in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 1. Go read it yourself, and you see the sound. The sounds appears in this scripture that I'm quoting you right away. So don't be carried away or misled by anyone. Now, tell me, how then did December come to be the date that most of all Christians recognize as the birth date of Christ? How then? Huh? You have right to prove to me as well. If you have proof from the Bible with Bible scriptural backup, you can as well prove to me that I'm wrong. Okay? So you hold on and listen to me carefully. Okay? We quote from Jesus Christ, our promised word, seed. Now, I want to explain and tell you the origin of these festive things that we call birth of Jesus Christ. 25th December in AD 274. Listen carefully. The origin of this feast. That's where I'm hitting right away. In AD 274, the Romans designated December 25th as the birth of the unconquered sun. Listen. Being the time when the sun begins to noticeably show an increase in light. Listen very good. Resulting in longer daylight hours. By 336 AD, the church in Rome was adopting this festival, spiritualizing its significance as a reference to Jesus Christ and calling it the feast of the nativity of the Son of Righteousness, attempting to Christianize and incorporate the pagan. So, you understand? These practices that we are practicing today, they are not Christian practice. They are of the pagans. So you going to church on Christmas Day thinking that you're celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, I tell you, you're mocking God and His holy Son. And you're fooling yourself around by believing the preaching of your pastors. They will never tell you the truth. I tell you. So you take out your own time and go and do further research. I'll be coming up with my next video and with the topic Easter Day. Why do we Christians really celebrate Easter? I'll tell you more about that, and why are we worshiping on Sunday, of which is not biblical. I will tell you more about that as well. So you just stay tuned and await my next video. I have a lot to discuss about, and I have some hidden truths in the Bible to review to you that pastors don't hit. Some don't know. I tell you, some do know, but they will never tell you or preach it. So stay tuned. I'll be back again. Thank you very much for your time and for listening. God bless you. Bye.